I know what you're thinking. You're like, Bronzeville, where is our cover price top 10 list? Here it is. We're 2 weeks removed from the Venom trailer. And what that means is no more null books on the list this week. We'll see what is on the list up next on this video from Bronzeville Comics. Hello, panelologists. This is Jim from Bronzeville Comics coming to you with another video. And before we get started, please like, comment, subscribe. Check out the description for all those links, the social media stuff. What do we got down there? eBay, email, whatnot, Instagram. Cover price top 10 list. I was busy packaging up packages for my whatnot sale. So Tuesday was a very busy day and I was exhausted. So I'm doing this on Wednesday and it'll come out Wednesday evening. So cover price top 10, let's just jump into it. Let us start at number 10 on the list with a copy of Uncanny. Oh, wait, no, this is Witchblade, number 3 by Mark Silvestri, homaging himself. An homage of Uncanny X-Men 251, UV Inc. Secret Thank You book that came out just a week ago from Image. We all know how, if you've been watching the list at all, how popular this cover. It's always been a popular cover, but it really jumped up in popularity after the Deadpool Wolverine movie was released. And it's about a $50 book right now. Interesting. What's cover A for? $4. Even the web store Virgin Foil doesn't have prices on it yet. This is entirely a cover buy. If you must, you must. This is not something I think is going to have a whole bunch of legs long term. If you're a Silvestri fan, if you really like that X-Men, whatever, enjoy. Not something I think has a whole lot of long-term value. Let's look at number 9. And this is Incredible Hulk number 6. Came out in November. It's the first appearance of the Spirit of Vengeance from a century ago. This book remains in the top 10 list. And it's about a $15 book. We see here a 9.8 going for $125. The 9.8s, there were 10 9.8s out of 12 overall. So there aren't a lot of these out there on the census. And we can see it's jumped up from a $50 to $70 book up to $125 in a sale just a week or so ago. 2 weeks ago, I guess that is. Be careful. I think somebody commented on my last video, I think it was Eggplant Comics, that he had gotten a collection of Overstock that had 25 of these. There are going to be these books coming to the census. Do not worry. This number will not stay at 12. So let's move on. Let's see what the description is. I haven't gotten to the descriptions of these books. Number 10, Image has been on one lately with their variants, and this book is another example. Chases 1 in 65 variants, super limited editions, and now Ultraviolet ink on a killer homage cover, no less. You may recognize this cover thanks to the book. It's homaging being on the top of the list a ton over the last 6 months. It's clear as day, but Silvestri stepped it up a notch. And the UV ink hidden in the cover D variants was a work of art. I don't know what it looks like that way. Fans love the surprise and have been on the hunt since it was revealed. And number 9, the Nick Klein regular cover, Sal Romero, the Ghost Rider of 1944, debuted in this book a century ago. Wow. I know I'm old, and I'm not that old. 1944 is 80 years ago. That's not quite a century. I was thinking like early 1900s, maybe World War I, but this is World War II. A Spirit of Vengeance from the World War II era signed the fan base up, but Marvel took it a step further, delivering a series later this year featuring Romero, Nick Fury, and Wolverine living it up back in the day. The potential for high jinks, I don't think that's supposed to be 2 words, is it? Is out of this world, and collectors thought now was a good time to secure his first appearance. What is up? What do we have for number 8? And it is Hello Darkness, issue number 3 from Boom Studios. Came out a week ago. It's the 1 per store Virgin variant by Paulo Rivera. Know nothing about this. It is the regular cover. It does have this image, but the Virgin has a little more cheeks in it. $60 to $80 for a high grade raw. Obviously no 9/8. In the offing. Risque covers typically do pretty well on the aftermarket. Really? Huh. Perverts. And this book is no different. It's a horror anthology series, which is exactly what fans have been craving lately. Give them a virgin 1 per store variant to chase, and the aftermarket is typically elevated. Even still, Paulo Rivera needed no help delivering a fantastic variant for the masses. Number 7. The Tin Can Society, number 1 from Image. I know nothing about this. Okay. Issue number 1, Bengal error listed as cover A on the back. Like the 1 in 10 is listed as cover. I guess when you scan it, I don't know. Let's take a look at what it say. It's like a $13, $14 book. Oh, how the community loves an error book, and those hold up so well in the long term. The series recently debuted to rave reviews, telling a superhero story from a different perspective. So fans quickly noticed when this Bengal variant had a cover A on the back of the book. Some opted to hold on to the error, but others felt it was time to change hands. So we see this a lot. What was it? World Tree that had like that darker cover that was an error and supposed to be recalled, and I think there are plenty out there. We'll see how this filters out over the long term. If you happen to get one, I mean, it's $15. Not going to make or break you in either direction. Number 6, Ghost Rider number 1. This variant edition, first full appearance of Phantasma. This came out today, and there's already a 9/8 sale. Buy their pre-sales. $10 book. Phantasma, who technically first appeared on the cover of Ghost Rider number 19 in 2023, has had some hype building up around her for a while. Well, her full debut is finally upon us in this book next to Comic Book Wednesday. This book next Comic Book Wednesday, which is today. Pre-sales for this book have been all over the place, but one thing is certain. For such a new character, the fan support has been outstanding. If the numbers are any indication, this is a book collectors don't want to miss out on. It's a Robbie Reyes special. You tell me what you think of this book. They're introducing kind of these next gen characters. And I guess, folks are kind of hoping that we're going to get the next Tosin Adoye, who was supposed to be the next Miles Morales. Big question mark is what will this look like all time? Long term. That's what I wanted to say. Let's go to number 5 on the list. And we have Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, number 1. This is the A cover. And there's also a black and white variant and a Gary Frank variant. I think this is a pretty catchy cover with Supergirl front and center. The sword, a little bit different look for her. Crypto there. You're going to have to pay about $30 for this book and over 100 in a 9/8. If we look at 9/8s, there are 284 copies on the census. 81% of those are 9/8s. And this book, ever since the Gunn announcement, has been strong. I mean, it kind of jumped from a case cost book up to 200, then kind of slid back down under 100. And now this is a little bit of a reinvigoration for it. Sales in the 125 range. I think that 125 is how I would price this book right now. If I were to have a copy to sell, people getting excited for the movie. And actually the writer of the movie, the woman who is doing the screenplay, Anna Noguera, she will be writing a Teen Titans movie. That is a new update we have today. But that's not what's driving this book. I think people are excited for the Supergirl series, I guess. I mean, I don't know if any real news has come up about it. The book was blazing when James Gunn revealed the title of his Supergirl DCU film coming down the line. It did so again when it was announced Millie Alcock would be portraying Supergirl. You get casting news, you get a jump. Although no Green Lantern books on this list. We got another announcement recently that Matthias Schoenaerts will be portraying Krem of the Yellow Hills, who first appeared in this book. This book may have another quiet period, but those times are quickly running out. Yeah, this is, up until the movie comes out, this is going to be a key. This is the kind of book I say, maybe you find it, kind of garage sale back issue bins or as a set at the right price. If you get the set for $25, $30, is probably the most I pay for it. That's what this book is worth. It's 8 books, 40 maybe. You're paying $5 a book, and maybe actually read it. So we'll see. I'm kind of excited about this. I haven't read this story yet because it's not from 2010 or earlier. And so it does sound kind of interesting, an interesting take on the character and juxtaposing her experience and her upbringing compared to the upbringing that Clark Kent had prior to becoming Superman. So I think Lobo's in this series as well. Maybe we should get the trade. Let's go to number 4 on the list, and it is Daredevil 270. A whisper of Mephisto is all it takes. First appearance of Blackheart, son of Mephisto. High grade books, $20, $30, but a 9.8. And this is a book from, when is this from? 1989. So it's not an old book. Again, a book that you can find, a book that was probably you could get for $5 or less until people started speculating on this. I guess it's always been a minor key. Let's look at the historics on this. There are 737 copies on the census, and this is kind of curious, right? For a book from 1989, only 19% of them are 9/8. Is there black on the cover? Yes, but it's 1989. It's not 1979. Ton of 9/6s, right? Then to 9/4, that's 2/3 of the census. Why you're getting this graded in a 6.0, whatever. But during the comic boom, people were grading a bunch of very fine to very fine plus copies of books. And now these books essentially only value in 9/8. We can see always had a little bit of value around $100. And then the comic boom says, let's jump this up from, a $200 book to a $460 book. And it's been correcting ever since. So like before the boom, just under, let's say $200, and it's kind of gotten back there now, plus some. So now we're over $250 on this book. Speculation market is rampant on this kind of thing. And spoiler warning, if you haven't watched Agatha yet, I haven't watched episode 3. Nobody has, right? It's not coming out for another 3 hours and 2 minutes as I record this. But fast forward for a minute and you get past my reading this and where we are. The speculation machine is buzzing as fans try to uncover Aubrey Plaza's true identity in Agatha all along. While our character remains a mystery, some hints in the show have led collectors to speculate about Blackheart's first appearance. In the comics, Blackheart is the son of Mephisto, but gender bending could adapt this character for the series, something Marvel has embraced in the past. We know that. With an actor like Aubrey Plaza, the possibilities seem endless. However, recent Funko leak has debunked this theory, revealing her true identity, which we won't spoil here. And the spoiler warning, if you want to spoil it, you can read it here. I don't know the spoiler. I don't care. Could they gender swap Blackheart? Sure. I'm interested to see what Aubrey Plaza is up to. A very popular actress. And, I know there are plenty of people out there that their childhood will be ruined if Blackheart is gender swapped. So let's go to number 3 and more Agatha. Fantastic 494, the first appearance of Agatha Harkness. The first mentioned the name Franklin Richards, but this is all about Agatha. And this book is kind of tumbled, comic boomy stuff. You get a high grade copy, you're going to go over $100, and probably what's the most common 8.5, right? You're still getting that's still an expensive book. Something's worth getting slabbed. But look at what happened with this book. Last sale was $225. This was, pre-boom, maybe trying to get around $100. Boom, started to drive it up to $300, and then WandaVision up to $800. Been correcting ever since. It looks like it's overcorrected because right before the boom, it was about a $100 book. No, maybe it hasn't. Yeah, it's down to $200. Still strong. And what happened is this is one of the instances where the show, in this case TV, no movie appearances, both WandaVision, now Agatha all along. I mean, Catherine Hahn was nominated for an Emmy Award for her portrayal of Agatha in WandaVision, has propelled this character much higher than her comic book presence. Marvel's been using her here and there in recent years in different vein than they did back in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s. And she was one of those many characters, that fit the Aunt May crone model. Like a woman over like a certain age looked like she was 100, if she was over 30. So yeah, there weren't a lot of middle-aged women in Marvel Comics. So that's what we're seeing here, and we can look at the description. Agatha Long was in limbo forever from announcement to hitting our screens. It took nearly 3 full years, but now that the series is out and receiving positive reviews, fans can't help but hunt for a first appearance in this 50-plus-year-old book. They're building something over there at Marvel, and some collectors don't want to miss out. Agatha's series has been good. For me, it's been a little slow moving, but this is a juxtaposition, right? So we have 2 Agatha books on the list. The Penguin has been out for the same amount of time, essentially for 2 weeks. We've had, 2 weeks worth of episodes of Agatha and 2 for the Penguin. And the Penguin is phenomenal. I understand that the difference is Penguin's first appearance is untouchable, and his first Silver Age appearance in lower grade is going to be several $100s. But it's kind of interesting that the collecting community hasn't found any more recent Penguin keys to, classic covers or reimaginings. I like the book, the Detective Comics book of the first appearance of the Iceberg Lounge, where Penguin is on the cover surrounded by the women. I think that kind of reset the character much closer to what we're seeing now on with the Colin Farrell portrayal. Let's go to number 2 on the list, and this is the Sentry #1. First appearance of the Sentry, Robert Reynolds. We saw the character in the Thunderbolts trailer named Bob. I think it's this guy. Most people think it's this guy. High grade book, $100. We're up to $349 for a 9.8. If we look at it's interesting that this is a little bit unique. It was fairly common in the 70s where a character gets their full-blown first appearance in their own issue #1 title. Right. This has been a strong book for quite a while because there's been a lot of speculation that he could be coming up over $500 at one point. It dipped back down under $250, and now it's jumping up to over $350. Right. I mean, somebody had it for auction for $188, and it had been in the mid 2s. Now it's jumped up to the mid 3s. There's also a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. I just sold one of these, and let's see how good a deal I gave to the buyer. But now's the time to sell this. I just kind of picked this up from Street Side Anthony to flip it. There are the main copy. Let's see. I didn't look at the census numbers. There are 1,566, 37%, 9.8. There are 520 of the SDCC edition, and 63% of those in 9.8. And that's about, it's about, I might have given a little bit of a deal. It's jumped up to $250, $270. I sold it for $225. I don't know if this was my copy or not. No, it wouldn't have been. I'd have to look in GPA analysis because I accepted the best offer for $225. And we all know about this. Thunderbolts trailer finally dropped and gave us a glimpse at Robert Reynolds, referring to lovingly as Bob. While we didn't see the Sentry persona, we did catch his alter ego, and that was enough encouragement for fans to go out and try to secure his first appearance. This book has been hot off and on since we first got rumors he may appear in the film, but now we got some confirmation. Not Stephen Yeun portraying him. That was a big part of it. And then, who was it? Robert Kirkman let it slip that he was portraying him, and then Yeun said he had to drop out of the project. I don't know if he's ever involved because the timetable doesn't make sense. I mean, these scenes would have been filmed before the Yeun announcement came. So I think that was a little bit of gamesmanship on somebody's part. Let's go to number 1. And again, for the second week in a row, Mark Spears Monster, issue #1, cover E, Bridezilla, high grade, up to $150. This is one of those total cover buys. This book held the top spot last week, and for good reason. Originally a Kickstarter project. See our first crowdfunding article. It's tough for such titles to gain traction without a major publisher. However, with KeenSpot picking up the series for wider distribution, Spear's incredible art caught the attention of comic collectors just in time for the holiday season. Halloween. Not Christmas. Featuring the iconic character mascot, the Bride Frankenstein, in a hauntingly unhinged look right before Halloween. The timing was perfect. There were other covers of this. I don't know. I'm probably not as popular. There is an issue number 2. Issue number 1 has a whole bunch of characters in it. What do we got? The Wolfman and Dracula, Frankenstein, the Mummy, the Creature from the Black Lagoon, that would be Mr. Hyde, and the Bride of Frankenstein. So all cool monster stuff. I don't know if I picked this up. I got to say, I didn't pick up the variant cover, but I mean, there are a lot of variants for cover A. A lot of variants, but this is the sexiest one. So that's, and this one, yeah, Marvel kind of beat them to the punch on this one. Nirvana Comics did an homage. There's a Star Wars homage, all sorts of interesting stuff. Let's take a look at the rest of the list, the 11 through 20. That's always interesting to see where trends go. Falling in Love on the Path to Hell, number 4, Subversive Girl. 1 in 15 variant, I guess there are people like that. Here we got that Century San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. There are quite a few of those out there. Creepshow, number 1, Steve Beach, 1 in 10. Again, more horror related stuff. Secret Wars 8, you're never going to get rid of that. X-Men 94. We're getting mutants. What format? Who knows? Between this being the second appearance of Storm, Colossus, Nightcrawler, and even Thunderbird, we could see, if any of those characters are coming into the MCU, we could see that. I think right away we're going to see the old characters kind of in a incursion kind of situation. Aliens versus Avengers, number 1. That's been a very popular book. We do have a Venom book, number 3, the first appearance of Null. Wolverine Revenge, the Red Band. So another EC homage. That's pretty cool. The Moon is Following, Ryan Stegman, 1 in 15. A new series as well from Image. Batman The Long Halloween, The Last Halloween, Jim Lee Black and White Virgin variant. So, a 1 in 100, that's going to be expensive. So what did you think of the top 10 list? Some interesting books on there. Obviously, Agatha causing some ripples, but me being a DC guy, the problem is those first appearances are so hard to find. Showcase 22 with Hal Jordan, Penguin's first appearance in the Golden Age, even his first Silver Age appearances from the early 1960s, and hard to get in higher grade. So not a lot of those change hands. So anyway, I'd like to thank you for stopping by. You can take a look at a couple of my other videos here. And this is Jim saying until next time, enjoy your comics.